Every day, millions of Bic pens are bought, sold, and used. Every second, 300 of them are sold worldwide. They're so popular that every day, millions of pens are manufactured. Luckily, a company is willing to endure this insatiable demand for pens. But how are Bic pens made? We visited the factory to find out. How are the world's most famous pens made? It all began when the inventor of the pen wasn't convinced by the utility of fountain pens or pencils for fast writing. For that reason, he wanted to design a more effective instrument for his reporting. In 1938, he noticed how a wet ball left a trail of water when rolling through a puddle, and that's where the idea of the ballpoint pen came from. Later, he figured out how to store ink in a small device that would make it flow smoothly while writing, without spreading. In 1951, the inventor, who had become a naturalized industrialist in France named Marcel Beech, popularized the patent by creating a similar design under the Bic brand. Marcel Beech focused on making the pen affordable. Before him, pens cost around $1.70 to the public. He managed to reduce that to just $2, making it accessible to people with limited resources. He continued to lower the cost even further, turning it into one of the cheapest pens available. Thanks to its low cost and high quality, the fame of the pen quickly spread worldwide. Today, the Bic company has around 25 factories all over the world, producing billions of pens each year. To learn about the Bic pen factory, we need to travel to Paris, the capital of France. The company's main headquarters is located here. Bic was created in 1950, and its unique vision for the pen quickly captured a significant portion of the market. Since then, they've produced over 110 billion units. The key to producing the perfect pen lies in the small metal ball at the tip. Its role is to control the flow of ink. When the pen is not in use, it seals the liquid ink inside. When writing, the ball rotates, transferring the right amount of ink to the paper. The manufacturing process of Bic pens starts with the ball. It looks like a tiny ball. These balls are only 1 millimeter in diameter and are made from tungsten carbide, an incredibly resilient material, 10 times stronger than steel. In theory, these pens should last a lifetime, but when the ink runs out, they're discarded. This material is so incredibly tough that it's used to make anti-armor ammunition in the military industry. The tiny tungsten carbide balls are manufactured by subjecting fine powder to heat and immense pressure in a machine called a compressor. However, after this process, the balls are neither smooth nor perfectly spherical. To achieve the necessary dimensions and geometries, the balls are put into a polisher, a rotating drum where they're combined with lubricating oil and a paste made of diamond powder. The pen manufacturers need to ensure that all balls meet the required quality standards. Samples are taken from every batch to detect possible defects. If more than one ball out of every 5,000 is not perfect, the entire batch is removed and destroyed. The metal balls that pass the test can then be attached to a female piece called the tip. This piece houses the ball and is made by stamping a piece of stainless steel. It's crucial that the ball fits perfectly into the female part, leaving only a minimal gap for the ink to pass through. The production of the tips begins with a manufacturing process called stamping. This mechanical operation gives the piece a rounded and semi-pointed shape. Once the tip is ready, it needs to be assembled with the ball. But how do they ensure that the tips can securely hold these slippery balls? This process requires strict monitoring to ensure a perfect fit. Once both pieces are correctly united, they need to pass a test to determine whether the assembly affects the ink's flow. However, even with a perfect tip assembly, the ink's viscosity needs to be just right. In their ink workshop, the master mixer creates the city's finest ink. It's a precise blend of pigments, resins, and solvents containing 10% to 31% oil-based solvent. To ensure the mixture is correct and flows smoothly, it's analyzed using a press that measures the ink's density with extraordinary accuracy. It's crucial that the ink isn't too thick or too watery. Subsequently, the ink is injected into a plastic tube through an extrusion and heating process. The pen's hexagonal tube is made from a type of plastic called polypropylene, a material that can withstand extreme temperatures and impacts. It's obtained by heating and injecting the polypropylene into a mold, shaping the pen's barrel. The same process is used for the cap and plug of the pen. They are formed through an injection molding procedure, an industrial method that molds plastic through continuous pressure and flow. This involves melting a polymer and passing it through a hole, resulting in a cross-sectional shape identical to the hole's form. Then, the excluded material is cut to the desired length. All of this is accomplished with the help of an extrusion machine. This device melts the plastic material, pumps it out through a nozzle at a consistent speed. After this, the material is cooled with cold water. Once all the pieces are formed, it's time to assemble the Bic pens. The first step involves inserting the tungsten carbide ball into the narrower end of the tip. This task takes place in a large assembly room where countless machines fit the parts together around the clock. Plastic tubes are filled with ink and connected to the tip. Then, the assembly is injected with 1.3 grams of ink into each pen's ink cartridge. Next, the tips are attached to the filled cartridges. All the pens are inspected to ensure they have all the components, including caps and plugs of the correct color. These pens can write a straight line without stopping or running out of ink for over 2 kilometers. For retractable pens, a spring needs to be added at this point to enable the retractable mechanism. A cam is used to achieve this. An embossing plunger with notches that fit the teeth of the cam is applied. To complete this intricate process, all the assembled components, including the cartridge and tip, are placed inside the pen's body. Then, a plastic plug of the same color as the ink is added to the end. Finally, the pens are packaged in their respective boxes for distribution and sale worldwide. In the United States alone, a staggering 1 billion disposable pens are used each year, with the assurance that each cartridge can write up to 2 kilometers. If you're curious about how pencils are made, there's a link in the description and the first comment. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with someone who might be interested. Also, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to keep learning.